Hey guys, I know this is early. I'm just getting things set up. If anyone's out there on YouTube, let me know. I'm gonna go check from over here. I'm gonna go to videos, and let's see if it shows I am live. Yep, it looks like I am live, but no one's here yet because I think people are just being very punctual, which is very, very cool. Gloria, how you doing? How's it going? We're still early. I have my my quarter and my dime. So I'm just getting acclimated to this. How you doing? And so I'm just gonna start, with my YouTube peeps, and then I'm gonna go over to Facebook and have you both together, which will be very, very cool. So, as you can see, Gloria, I have my sangria. See that? Isn't that cool? So I hope you have your wine with you, or any color beverage of your choice. So that would be very interesting. Perfect. Yes, that's what we want. Lots of alcohol. We're gonna need it after drawing this eyeball, right? It's going to be a lot of fun, but it's going to be very, very interesting to say the least. And let's see what we have here. I got to check this camera. What's this all these different angles I have, Gloria. It's crazy. So I'm going to go to Critter, and let's see if that shows up now if I go over here. Okay, cool. So that's where we're going to be working from, which is very, very neat. And let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring Facebook over and see how that goes. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Let's see. So we'll go broadcast, Facebook. And we're just going to change the title to Drawing the Eyeball. Start broadcast. Okay, so let's see if Facebook now comes alive. That would be very cool. So we'll have people from Facebook talking and people from YouTube talking. It'll be a whole big event. Yep, so we are actually live on Facebook, so that's really exciting. So I'm happy about that. Let me go to the correct camera here. Whoop, that's not the correct camera. Right there. Okay, so let's see if any Facebook peeps are showing up yet. Let's see. I'm going to go over here. And let's make this bigger. Okay, so we have 3 people on Facebook, which is really cool. We are doing, of course, we're drawing the eyeball. And we're just going to wait a few minutes to catch everybody up, make sure, because I did say 9 o'clock and I don't want to start before then. So that's pretty cool. And so it looks like we have 3 people on, and then we have Gloria so far. It's Saturday night. Hey, William, good to see you. William and Gloria are here, so that's exciting. That makes me happy. So I have my YouTube people here, which is Gloria has sparkling cider. William, what are you drinking today? So I have, of course, sangria right over here, and we are just sort of gathering together, but not gathering together. Hey, Angela and Cheryl, so great to see you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. So we're gonna have fun, just go ahead and draw the eye, nothing too complicated, something that everyone can, join along, which is really exciting. So Luke, good to see you. How's it going? Luke and Angela are all the way from Australia, so that's exciting. So William has some coffee so far, maybe a beer later. That would be very cool. And we're going to incorporate, hey Steve, good to see you, my friend Steve from the Chicago area. So this is going to be really cool. So We're going to be using Critter to show you guys the different techniques, which will be really exciting. Bradley, good to see you, my friend. So Bradley all the way from Canada, so we're at 8:58. And then once 9 o'clock comes around, we'll get down to this and see if we can get like a good head of steam, and just like people talking from Facebook, people talking from YouTube. Let me see, I'm going to authorize this, and we'll authorize Facebook, and hopefully we'll be able to see your comments as well. Okay. Connected. And let's see if we can just make the letters bigger and see if that shows up. So let me see. So Facebook comments is right over here. Okay, so I was hoping to get Facebook and YouTube people talk. Tone, good to see you. How's it going, my friend? So that's so cool. So we definitely got some good amount of people over there on Facebook. We have 10 people, which is really exciting. 8 people. 2 got bored. I can't help that, you know. So we are going to have a good time today. We are going to, drink whatever you have. We're going to draw this eyeball. You can download it on YouTube and on Facebook, so you can have your reference, which is all very exciting. Wendy, good to see you. How are you, Wendy? Wendy, all the way from the Dallas area. So that's exciting. So I'm very happy. And it is 9 o'clock, and 9 o'clock means that we are going to go ahead and we're going to start this up. So let's go ahead to work on this. So the first thing is you just need any kind of paper. This is ink. Henry, how you doing? How's everything all the way from Florida? Good to see you, Henry. Is your mom coming by? And your sister? I can't wait to see them as well. So good to see you, Henry. Just any old pencil. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be anything fancy smancy, Just that would be fine. And Angela. Oh, Angela's from Vancouver, British Columbia. So sorry about that, Angela. I don't know why I thought Australia. But yes, so we got 2 Canadians in the house, which is really very exciting. Any pencil will do. I use an eraser. You have number 2 pencil, the eraser on the pencil. That's cool too. So this is the eyeball. I don't know if you guys can see it, but the eye is all good. Nice to see you too. All right. So your mom and your sister will be joining us shortly. That's exciting stuff. So you guys have the picture from the Facebook, so you can actually go ahead and see what we're working on. So what I'm going to do, actually, let me do this. I'm going to help you guys out because I love you guys, and I'm just going to go to, I'm going to pull up that picture for you guys so you guys can see. Let's see, where is she? Okay, there we go. So this way you guys can see her eye. There you go. So I hope that helps. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a quarter. If you guys have a quarter hopefully out there, that would be cool. And so what we're going to do is just take that quarter. Hey, what's up, Lisa? Good to see you. Lisa from New York. How are you? How's everything? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to trace this circle here, right? That's the first thing we're going to do. And what I have is the, which is pretty cool, I have this in Critter, and I'll show you guys. Where is it? Okay, let me go to Critter. So if I go to Critter, as you can see here, I have it pretty cool. So what I do is, so here's the original picture, right? And what I like to do is, to show you guys, I am going to lower the opacity. And you see, lower the opacity like that. and I'm going to show you the different, so the first step basically is this one right here, is just drawing that eye. So that's where we are. So you guys have to be there. So I'll give you a few minutes to get there. Oh man, just any circle will do. So you just have to have one circle and one circle smaller. That would, hey, what's up? How are you, Cheryl? So great to see you. That is so great. So, and Cheryl says, oh, Cheryl's tagging somebody. That's what Cheryl's doing. Okay, so cool. So, I'm just going to go back to this screen here. Okay, so that's where you want to be. You want to be right there where you can go ahead and draw that circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you're going to take the dime and you're going to draw that right inside. Now make sure it's somewhat centered. You know, you want to make sure it's as centered as possible. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you just want it centered like that. And then what you can do, actually, let's do this. Let's erase that. Forget that one step I told you. What we want to do is, since we have that, we can do a smaller circle inside. And the circle doesn't have to be, but if you look at the eye, the pupil is really small, so the dime doesn't work. So you want to do the circle of the quarter and then a smaller circle like that. And let me know when you guys get there. And I believe you guys could draw circles, so I have faith in you. So let's just do that, and we'll get to that stage. Now, we'll go to Krita, and I'll show you. And we'll go back to number 5. Okay, and I am going to just go to Krita real quick and just basically show you guys the next step. So that's our one step, and this is our next step. And notice that it doesn't have to be perfect, right? It really doesn't have to be perfect. Just like that, once you get there, that's all I ask. So give you guys a few minutes, and while that's going on, let's go ahead and have some sangria, and that would be cool. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. So tell me what you guys are drinking out there. Coffee, water, tea. It's Saturday night. Come on, we can't be so straight-laced all the time. We gotta let down our hair every once in a while, right? So, okay, so Gloria is there. So what I wanted to do, so this is something everyone, I want you to go do this. And it's kind of funny with the whole toilet paper thing going on. And I want you to get just ginger tea. That's very cool. Better on YouTube. Tim was cutting in and out on Facebook. That's a bummer. Okay, so that's cool. So I want you to get some toilet paper, maybe about 2 sheets. I know it's probably like, a commodity right now. We're going to save that for later. Trust me, we're going to need this with this eyeball, which is very cool. Oh, wow, water and tea. Very cool. Bradley has herbal tea. And Wendy has coffee, and Michelle, good to see you. How are you? So cool. That's very exciting. So I'm happy. Happy to see you. And let's see here. Coffee, Henry. That's very good. Regular coffee. Is it something like, let's say, Colombian? Colombian coffee is always good. So Lisa says, Maldives says, she wished she had some sangria. Ginger ale is. Okay, ginger ale is not bad. A good ginger ale. Just don't drink it too fast. At least I do. The bubbles get to me. So what I want you to do is just ever so lightly, not heavy, I want you to just color that in. So it's a gray color, right? So go ahead and do that, guys. And that's all we have to do. Just color that in, and then we're ready for the next step. So this is going to be a good eyeball. You're going to be happy with it. It's going to be a lot of fun, I promise. So now once that's done, I'm going to show you guys exactly what we have to do on Krita. So let's go to Krita here. So on Krita, you can see we're up to here, and then we're going to go to the next step, which would be the upper eyelid. Now we're going to do two things with the upper eyelid, as you can see here. Two things. The first thing, we're going to do this part of the eye and then this crease of the eyelid. So we're going to do the eyelid covering up the iris, and then we're going to do the top part. Now it's kind of tricky. It's not as easy as it looks in Krita. So let's go over to our paper here. Now if you notice, it doesn't, this is not what you want. If you do the eye like this, where it's covering, let me blow this up. Let's see. We'll go ahead and blow this up for you guys. So I'm going to show you what, before you do anything, I'm going to show you what not to do, and that's going to help a lot. So you see here, you don't want to do this. Now why? Because number one, they're going to look like they had way too much coffee, and nobody's eyes are hardly ever where you see the whole pupil. Coffee is good. Not too much coffee when you look like that. You know? And so we are on YouTube as well. So go on YouTube if you can, guys. Hey, hermano, ¿cómo estás, Alejandro? Estoy muy contento que tú estás aquí. So that is so great. Alex from high school is here. So we used to draw together and paint all together in the classes. So what you want to do, you want to cut it off right here. You see that? Not halfway. You want to see the whole pupil, but you want to cut off the top part of that iris. The iris is the whole circle. The little circle is the pupil. So, and then, so once you do that, you'll realize that you're not covering up, you're covering up part of it, but not up to where the iris is, okay? And then we'll zoom out. And now you can see we want to just look, I want you to look at the eye, okay? While you're doing this, I want you to look at your reference, the photo that you downloaded. And you just want to go, you don't want to go all the way down. You want to come down, but only where the iris meets. See this? If you put an imaginary straight line here, this is as far as you want to go, right where the pupil starts. And then we're going to do the same thing on this eye. We're going to bring it down, and the same thing, pretty much, maybe a little bit lower, just a little bit lower. So I would say like right there, just a little bit lower than this part of the eye. So this is the middle of the eye, and this is the back of the eye, you know? Oh man, old hat painting club buddies, that was us, yeah, back in the day. That was only like 10 years ago, right, Alex? When we were in high school, more or less? Yes. Now we're going to go ahead. Hey, Jersey, good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. How you feeling there, Jersey Joe? So it's been a while. I know you're working a lot of hours, but it's always great to see you, my friend. And so we got Facebook and YouTube going on right now, which is really cool. So this is where you want to be right now. Now we just have to go to our other scene here, which is in Krita, and I'm going to show you the next step. So now we have to do this part, right, which is kind of tricky, but we can do this. We definitely can. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our screen here. Now it's going to be, so here's where the eye is. I'm glad you didn't erase it, because we don't want to erase that. So I would say probably, if you put the same circle of the pupil, like right here, like the same size pupil, this distance right here is going to be pretty much equal. and we're going to use that as our guide. Like I said, this is a lesson for everybody, regardless of whether or not you know, you're quote unquote artists or what have you. This is just something to, you know, help you guys boredom being stuck inside. You know, it's week number 2, so with this you can see it doesn't go all the way down. It probably goes right up to, so imagine a line going across this pupil here, and that's how far you're going to bring down the upper eyelid crease, or the upper part of the eyelid. Same thing here. You're just going to go right like that. Okay, so like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just an eye, just to have fun, just to play with the pencil, do things that you didn't normally think that you were able to do, which is good. So great. So Joe's going to be back on Wednesdays. Oh wow, so that's cool. Wednesdays you get up at 3:50. So that's really early. So we missed you, Joe. So looking forward to seeing you again in the group. Now we have a Wednesday night stream, Wednesday live stream, Wednesday night, 9:30 every Wednesday. And so take a break, have some wine, have some sangria, whatever you like. There you go. Let's just have a good time, relax, take it easy. Really doesn't even care. I don't even care how the eye comes out. It's just something to do, some fun. So that's cool. Yes, very important detail about drawing eyes. Very true. Very true. And you know, about not having, you know, showing the whole iris, you know, then they look like they had way too much coffee. Like I used to when I used to work at Amazon or Quidsi, to you know, get through that day of excitement, I used to have to drink a lot of coffee because it was very exciting there. It was just a lot of fun. I just can't tell you, the fun was just overwhelming. So anyway, so what we're going to do is we are going to go on to the next step in Krita. So let's go there. Okay, so the next step in Krita is definitely the lower eye, and I'm going to show you how the lower eye is going to look. So you see that? So we have 2 parts to do, and we're going to go ahead and do that in our regular paper. Okay, so you have your reference. You see your eye right there, which is really cool. You can see it, so that's exciting. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, now this is interesting. We're going to start with the bottom here. Now if you notice in the photograph, you'll see that the bottom lid just touches, it doesn't cover any of the iris, it just touches it. Oh, bloodshot. Yes. And so what we're going to do is we're going to sort of connect from here right up to where this part of the eye, the upper eyelid and the lower eyelid kind of meet. See that? And I want you to really pay attention to the shape here. There's a definite shape here, and that shape is actually in the photograph as well. So you want to look at the negative shapes as well as the positive shapes. A negative shape is basically what's around what you're painting. So what's around this iris are the white of the eyes. That's considered a negative shape. So what we're doing here is we are going to connect this to that area right there. So you see that? That's pretty interesting. The upper eyelid, Alejandro says the upper eyelid, the upper eyelid always covers some of the pupil, unless of course they had too much black coffee or their emotion. That is true. I mean, we're talking a lot of coffee, right? That's, you know, I've been there. So tonight is sangria, Alejandro. No coffee tonight. Okay, so what's interesting about eyes is you'll see, and we'll go to Krita real quick, And I like going to crit. It's a really good way to teach. You see this area right here? That little triangle in the triangle, that's an area that's in every eye. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and draw that right now. You don't want to make it too big. You don't want to make it too small. So you just, if you look at the negative shape here, you'll see the shape that is in the white of the eye. And you'll see that this shape is actually parallel to, almost parallel to the iris. And if you just follow that, that would be good. If you were doing it straight up and down, it would look weird. But if you start going parallel, it might be your internet connection. That happens, you know. And also, YouTube Live is not as you know, I don't know, not as stable as Facebook Live is not as stable as YouTube Live. Okay, so you see, just like that, we did that part of the eye. So we're really cooking with gas now. We really are getting a lot of things done. Hey, Adrian, how you doing? Good to see ya. So cool. All right. And it's okay. So now we have another part to do. So like right now, everything's going as planned. You're drinking your wine. You're hanging out. Let's go to Critter once more. I love Critter. Okay, so here we are with Critter. So now we're going to do the lower eyelid, which is right over here. The lower eyelid. See that? That is very important. That's like the next level when painting eyes. Is you're not just seeing this, but this is almost like the, you know, it's a three-dimensional form, so it comes out almost like a windowsill. Think of it as a windowsill. That would really help. And we're going to go ahead and see it runs pretty much parallel to this part here. So it's like two parallel lines, and this sort of converges right at the beginning of this triangle. So let's go ahead and do that with the paper. Okay, so here we are going. So now what we're going to do is we are going to run this parallel, right? Parallel with, and not too thick, not too thin. And then we're just going to converge it right at that triangle. So you see that? That's a very important element of it, you know? Hey, Isabel, ¿cómo estás? Estoy muy contento al verte. So great, we have Isabel here. That's very exciting. Estoy muy contento. So Isabel es una pintora excelente. Just, you know, she's wonderful, wonderful artist. And Alejandro says, where can I download the image? Oh yes, just scroll down a little bit on this page and you'll see it. It's the post before this, and you can just go ahead and download that. Just right click on it and download on it, Alejandro. Now if you have any questions, let me know. So that is cool. Oh, what I would do, Wendy, is go on to YouTube. That will solve the problem, definitely. So try that. Okay, so now we are doing really well. And the next step is, let's go ahead and erase some of the areas here. So you see where we have a little bit of that eye there? We're going to go ahead and erase that. And you can use any eraser to do it. It doesn't have to be a fancy eraser. And then what I'm going to do is erase all the lines inside the iris. Remember, the iris is the big circle, the pupil is the little circle, right? And then we're going to erase the white of the eye. Now, what I'm going to do is do something very interesting. Oh, cool, Wendy's got it, so cool, all right. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go into Crit. I want to show you about negative spaces. And this is going to help you regardless of what you draw, you know, whether you're drawing an eyeball or something as complicated as a face or whatever. So we're going to go right there. So you're all doing really good. I'm really excited. So don't worry how your eye looks. It's all part of it, right? So we got to go to this next step. I'm going to show you what I mean about negative spaces. So when I talk about negative spaces, what I really mean, let me get over here, is, let me make this white so you can see it a lot differently. So let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay. So the negative spaces would be this shape of the eye. So put the lower lid right there. This shape of the eye, this has a definite shape. And that's what you want to look for when you're drawing. Not just the positive shape of the eyeball, but this negative shape. That's definite shape. And when you look for that shape, as well as looking for the shape of the eye, that's when it all comes together. Same thing here. You want to look for the positive shapes and the negative shapes. I am painting this, this right here is on Krita. This is just to show you guys. But the drawing is just on regular paper, regular inkjet paper. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, Adrian, so that's cool. And so you see how we have these negative shapes? If you get these negative shapes correctly, then you'll know that the positive shape is just falling into place, right? So that's where I want you guys to be. So I hope that really helps, because that, I think, is really important. Not just when you're drawing, not just drawing the positive shapes, but also the negative shapes. So what I'm going to do over here, I'm just going to go ahead and erase some of this. Let's see. So we're just going to erase this here. Just getting rid of all the excess right here. So what I want you to do is, you went ahead and I want you to darken this a little bit more, right? So let's darken this a little bit more, but don't do it just yet. I'm just showing you on here, and then I'll show you in the regular drawing physically. Okay. Now with a lighter value, and I'm going to show you, so don't worry if you are a little nervous or what have you. We're just going to do a lighter value, just like we do with the pencil. We're just going to go lighter, just like that. And just make sure you keep this circle. And we're just going to go maybe just a little bit darker. So I just want you to go, and now don't do it yet if you are not too sure, but I'm going to do it on the pencil and the regular paper to show you guys. But that's where I want you to be right now. So let's go back, and we'll go back to this scene right here. Let me get this out of the way. This is how I teach my online classes in airbrush and pastel. So it's pretty cool. So there we are. So we're going to go and, hey Keith, how you doing? Good to see you, my friend. So glad you're here. Hey Catherine, good evening. How are you? So it's pretty early where you are. Okay, so where are you, Catherine? And so glad you're here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to very lightly blend this in. Just lightly go ahead and put a, you can do it almost like a cross hatching, like that. And then darken this up here. There we go. And let's just have fun. Don't worry how it comes out. That doesn't matter, guys. Not at all. Now, this is where some of the fun is going to happen, guys. This is fun for everyone. Fun for the whole family. So what we're going to do is you're going to roll up the TP, right? And what I want you to do is not the pupil, but in the iris, I want you to rub. And don't worry if it goes, if you rub on the white of the eye. So I want you all to do that. If you have any questions of how that's looking, let me know, okay? So I want you to get there, and if you have any questions, or even just tell me, hey Tim, I'm ready for the next step, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. And while you guys are doing that, of course, I am going to have another sip of sangria because it's Saturday, right? I really miss the gym, guys. I'm telling you, I'm freaking out. I'm thinking of breaking into the gym, working out, and then when I leave, lock the door behind me. Is that a good plan? Could I get arrested for that? I'm not technically stealing anything. Well, there's no one in there to bother, so that's a good question. I don't know. So, let's see. And let's see if... okay, Gloria's ready for the next part. Oh, so Catherine is watching my class from Belgium. So cool. That is wonderful. That's exciting. Okay, so Gloria is ready to go, so that's exciting. So Gloria is probably kicking butt over there. Denise, how you doing? Good to see you. Only if they catch me, Keith. That is very true. And chances are I'm going to be in better shape than the police officers trying to catch me, hopefully. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to erase any of the rubbing that you did that's around the eye. You see that? So we're just gonna erase that. See that, guys? That's pretty cool. So cool to see you, Denise. And let's see. There we go. And we're going to have not tried this program. Oh, you've been using Procreate. You're gonna love it. It's really exciting. Critter is free and very easy. I'm gonna send you a cheat sheet, okay? So I'll do that. I think I have your email, Joe. So I'll send you my Critter cheat sheet. Henry says it's super fun to blend with toilet paper. Yes, Henry, the cheaper the toilet paper, the better. You don't want to get like Charmin or something that has any kind of oils in it or anything like that. You want to get the cheap stuff, and it's just wonderful how it blends. It's just really great. So what I want you to do now is take your eraser, and you'll see that there's a little circle right here, and I want you to try and erase that. So do that for me, guys. Just erase a little circle on top of it. And how you would look at it, right? So we would see, like, here's your pupil, and it would be a little circle like that, but you would erase that. So you see that? Go ahead and do that, guys, and I want to know what you think of the next one. Toilet paper is worth more money right now. More than money. That is true. You're better off getting art supplies. It's cheaper. That is so very true. So you see that? That's pretty cool. That's where we want to be. So while you're doing that, what I want you to do is to color this in even more, the pupil. I want you to go ahead and make that pupil even darker. And one thing about pencil, every time you go over it, it gets darker and darker, just like that. So go ahead and do that. So you see, that's not bad. It's not a bad eye so far. No mono, no needed eraser. It doesn't, well, any eraser would be fine, definitely. I have those erasers, but you can do that with a regular eraser, right? You could just a regular pencil eraser or use the corner of it. That's cool, Wendy. So you see how I just went ahead and darkened, and that's not bad. That looks pretty good, so we're pretty happy. So once that's done, we're going to go on to the next step. And the next step is going to be, let's see, what would the next step be? Okay, this is what I want you to do. You definitely want to keep this white circle over here. Now right here you're going to do the shadow. So right here you want to follow parallel to the upper eyelid. See how it's parallel? It's going right, it's not going straight, it's just going parallel. Same here, you're going to go parallel. That's perfect, right? So that's what you want to do. And it is a little more difficult, definitely, but you'll get it, Wendy. And what I want you to do is just, I want you to make it darker, but not as dark as the pupil, okay? So you don't have to go over it a second time. Just like that. See that? Now this is going to be a tricky part. You're going to take your toilet paper, very expensive art supply, and you're going to roll it like that, right? Then you're going to take it like this, and you're going to be very careful not to go over the white, that white circle. Now you can go over in the white of the eyes, that's fine, that's all good, but you want to sort of blend that in like that. Now if you go off in the white of the eyes, you can always erase, no problem. And you can practice this at home and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And let's go ahead and do that again. We're gonna darken it just a little bit more. But as you darken it more, I want you to just to where you see that line, I want you to just be fuzzy with that line. You see how that we want to get rid of that line. So we just want to be fuzzy with that. Just like that. And we can darken it. So this is where I want you to be right now. See, that looks like, not a bad eye, right, so far. Pretty cool. So, I'm pretty happy with that. And then as you're looking at that, we can do the bottom part here. We can just make this a little bit darker and make sure we keep that little white area. And that doesn't have to be a perfect circle because that's basically the reflection of the light, right? So that's basically what it is. Just like that. Okay. So that's where you are, and then you can go ahead and maybe just blend it a little bit. There you go. So that looks pretty good. So what I want is a roll call out there. Those who are following along, how's your eye looking? Are you happy with it? Are you unhappy with it? Any questions? Hey Todd, how you doing? Good to see you. Just having some sangria, some coffee, some water, some tea, and we're just hanging out, drawing an eyeball. This is just a free art lesson for you guys, just to alleviate some of the boredom and some of the monotony of being stuck at home. Not everyone has bored or feels monotonous, but it's nice to have variation. It's nice for me to give back and give a free art lesson for you guys. And but you'll notice, you'll use toilet paper whenever you draw now, and that's really exciting. So. Oh, so Bradley's saying he's looking right back at him. That's important. So cool. So let's go to Critter, and we're going to show you the next step of what we're going to do. And it's pretty cool. It's coming along nice, not too fast, not too slow. So let's go to Critter, and we will go to the next step. Gloria says hers doesn't look like mine, that's for sure. I bet yours looks better than mine. It probably looks like Natalie Wood's eye or something like that. Gloria's natural at everything she does, and that's for sure. So I think Gloria is underestimating herself. That's what I think. Cheryl says looks like a eyeball to her. That's very cool. So that's so good. I love that. Denise says, hi Todd. All right. So now Critter is where we're going. All right. Now I'm going to get out my Huion 1060p tablet, which is really fantastic. I highly recommend it. It's like under $60. It's like the best value ever. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a darker color, this darker color here. Now this is actually a pretty tricky area. We're doing eyelashes, but you don't want to do eyelashes like this, right? That looks horrible, and most people will do that. That is not what we're going to do. We're much more sophisticated than that here today. We're going to do the large areas, and so Wendy says, did look good, Tim, that her mom's 30-year-old eraser smeared the white part. Oh boy. Hey Ryan, good to see ya. How's it going? So, always good to see Ryan. Thank you so much for stopping by, my friend. Ryan's a very good artist. Always great to see him. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically draw this thick area right here. We're doing the mass of, we're doing the forest first before we do the trees. So if you see, we're going to do this dark area. It's going to be pretty thick here. And then it's going to be pretty thin over here by the line, just like that. So you see how it gets pretty thick here and then thins out over here. That's what we're going to do. So I want you guys to do that. And we're going to go back and I'm going to show you on the paper what I mean. So once again, this is how I teach when I teach. Hey John, good to see you. Red, White, and Blade. So good to see you guys. So I'm excited. Red, White, and Blade says, hey Tim, I know it's still early in the stream, but would you be able to describe your process on how you get the skin striation, usually around the lower lids? I normally would, my friend, but right now this is basically just for everyone, and I think that's a little too advanced. But you know, that's for like another time, unfortunately. But I really want it to be just for people following along. But thank you, that's a great question. If you go to my live streams Wednesday night, you'll see some of that advanced stuff, you know? Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do what I did in Krita. Remember, it's a thicker line all the way down here. And we're just going to color that in. So you see how we're just doing a thicker line. It's pretty dark. And then it thins out. It doesn't go, it just thins out right on this line. So right up to here. Just like that. Pretty thick though. See how thick that is? So that's pretty thick. And so that should give you a little depth and get us ready for the eyelashes coming up. We're sort of setting up for the eyelashes, right? We're not going too crazy, you know. We're not doing any big detail yet. We're just doing the larger forms and setting up for the smaller forms. So you see, it's really pretty cool. We're not doing anything too complicated yet. We're just having fun. Now, I also want you to do this. So you see this line here, this beautiful contour line you have? What I want you to do is I want you to very lightly color in just on the outside of that line. Actually, the inside of that line. See that, guys? What we're going to do is we're going to create some of the depth of that iris. So we're just going to darken that up just a little bit. I want you to be very light with your pencil. You know, light is always right. You can always go darker, but it's a lot harder to lighten up. And Denise Thurston Newton says, just got home from the studio. What is the tablet again? The Huion 1060p. It's really fantastic. It's under $60 on Amazon, and it is really fantastic. And I used a free software, which is Krita 4.2.9, which is really amazing, or 4.4.9, I'm not sure, but it's the latest version. So once again, we're just going to darken the edge there. See that? We're just going to darken the edge. So once you darken it, I want you to go over it yet again. Remember, with pencil, every time you go over it a second, a third time, it gets darker. So it's sort of, you get you go over it once, it's dark. You go over it another time, it's dark, and every time you go over it, it gets darker. So that's where I want you to be. So Todd says all his eyes look cartoony, airbrushing or drawing. Well, little by little it comes together, Yes, Ryan says getting those eyes correct are so important. Yes, it is so important. It's paramount, right? And so Joe says, sorry Tim, getting tired. If you have any info on the program you're using would be helpful. Stay safe. Joe, take care. It's always good to see you. Sorry I didn't see your message until now. I hope you have a great night, and thank you so much for joining me today. And if you have any sangria, have some sangria, my friend. So you see, as I could use the toilet paper again, and what I can do is take my eraser because I smudged on the outside, and I could just, so it's good to see you, John. So glad you can make it. Make sure you don't ruin your drawing of the circle. So that's basically where we are right now, which isn't too bad. It usually takes a while. Ryan says usually takes him a while to get it correct. Usually you do a great job with the eyes, Ryan. So whatever you're doing, keep doing that. Okay, so now this is where we start doing some interesting areas here. So right here, we're going to very lightly, we're going to just shade the corner of this eye here. Very lightly, not too dark. And that's going to basically just give the eye a feeling of being three-dimensional. Remember, the eye is going back into this, under these eyelids and going back into the eye socket. So you see, just like that, okay? And Ryan says, then the little highlights in the inner corner of the eye he thinks is a lot with making them realistic, or the gloss of the eye, definitely, because the eyes are wet, right? So we have to depict that. And that's when we get really advanced, right? So we'll see, we're doing a little bit of that with that highlight, and we'll just continue. Now right over here, the light's coming from the top, right? So here's the light, and it's coming down. So think of light rays coming down, right? Coming down on her eyeball. Now her eyelid is sort of shading the eyeball, right? So I'm going to show you with that thought what we're going to do is you're going to extremely lightly, you're going to just, this little area here, you're just going to shade this area here, just like that. See that? I'm going to blow that up so I'm very clear here. Let's see. Okay, so right there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to very lightly, you're going to put very little pressure on that pencil, right? Very little pressure. Same thing here, very little pressure. And then what you're going to do is you're going to be ever so careful, and you're just going to take the corner here, and you're just going to lightly rub on that area. So you see now the eye starts to look, a little three-dimensional, a little more than usual. So that's good. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go to the next step. And the next step would be to color in this little corner area. You see right here? And the first thing I want to do is I want you to lighten it up a little bit. I don't want it too dark. So you're just going to lightly erase. So you can still see that little triangle, but the thing is it's not too dark. The line's not too dark. So what you're going to do is you're going to lightly shade it, but it's going to be a lot lighter than here, because you look in real life, it's a lot lighter than there. So you're just going to just do it like that. See that? Ever so lightly. And then you can take your toilet paper. The master at work. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that, my friend. This is a lot of fun. We're just kicking it today, right? Old school style. And so there we are, and things are looking pretty good. Now the next step is to reiterate this line over here. See where we did this part? What we're going to do is we are just going to lightly shade from this line up into the white of the eye. So you see that? Just lightly shade up into the white of the eye. Just like that. And what we're doing is we're making it look like there's no line here. It's just that the eyeball gets dark as it sort of goes underneath this eyelid, this skin. That's what we're trying to do, you know. Oh, the image is on my YouTube channel, definitely. We definitely can do that. Let me see if I could do something real quick. I will message you. Actually, I don't have it on here. You can go on my YouTube channel. It might be there. But if you open up a separate window, if you're on a computer and you can see it there, it'll be on my home page, which is pretty cool. Can I zoom in where the shading of the lower lash? Definitely. Let's do that. Okay. There we go. So you see, Henry, it's just this very, see how we're just like that, and sort of getting rid of the line. And once that's done, this is the cool part, then you can erase this part just like that, that in between of the two lines, those two parallel lines. And then once you do that, you're pretty much right there. So you see that? So I am going to be right back, guys. Give me one moment. Okay, I'm back. Thank you so much for your patience, guys. And all right, so now what do we do next, right? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have more sangria. That would be good. Or coffee or tea, whatever you guys are drinking. And, oh, thank you so much, Ryan. I appreciate that, my friend. Let's see. Todd says it's easier to shade after you put the pencil down, or should you do it off to the side and then do it with the tissue? I see people doing it different ways. Well, whatever is more comfortable for you, my friend, that would be perfect. Oh, Gloria says her eyeball looks like it's on crack. You know what? Those are the best eyeballs. Oh, man. Don't worry about it, Gloria. It's your first eyeball. Your next eyeball is going to be better. Pretty soon you're going to be doing like the most amazing eyeballs ever. You know? Just super eyes. You know, that's what I'm thinking. So here we are right now. And now the next step. That's what we're going to be doing. So we're this is getting exciting. You know, it's a lot of fun. We're hanging out, and as you can see, I haven't drank much of my sangria, so I still have a lot. So I'm gonna have another sip. Not bad. Okay. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Now, what is that? Okay, that's what that is. All right. So let's see if anyone's saying some stuff here on Facebook. So Facebook guys, let me hear who's out there. So just say a quick shout out on Facebook. Hey Tim, it's me. So I can say hi back. That'll make me happy. Same thing with YouTube. If whoever's out there, throw me a shout out. Say, hey Tim, how's it going? Where you from? That would make me happy. So just a quick shout out. If you haven't already, that would be great. All right, now let's go ahead to the next stage, and we're going to go back to our Critta. And everyone loves Critta, right? I love Critta. And so we're going to go ahead and go to the next step. It's a great teaching tool, right? It's great to show you in these terms before I actually show you with the paper and pencil. So I love it, and my students love it. So, you know, but I'm not going to talk about my class because this is just for you guys. This is not any kind of advertisement or anything. This is just for you guys. All right, now we're going to do individual eyelashes, but we are going to do them. See how we're going to just do one long eyelash. See how it's sort of it points at the end? See how the eyelash is, if you do, it's thick at the bottom and then it just sort of gets real thin at the end? That's what we want to do. And I'm going to show you a couple of cool secrets when painting eyelashes. First is to really look and see what direction those eyelashes, and look for one eyelash, right? And then you'll just do it like that. And then we'll look for other eyelashes somewhere else. So here's another long one. And we're just going to see what angle it's at, just like that. And then you have another one right next to it. And we're just going to do a cut, and you see how it gets really thin. And it passes, see how it passes the crease of the upper eyelid? And that's going to give you an indication of where they are, right? And then we'll do another clump right over here, a little further away. And some of them are real thin. Some of them are just like super thin and not even thick at the bottom. And they're going in different directions. And one of the things you want to watch out is you want to watch out that they're not equidistant from each other. As people, for some reason, we want everything to have mathematical regularity. So let's say if we did something like this, see how they're all the same distance? Then it starts looking fake. That's not the way it is in nature. The way it is in nature is Bronx, New York. Very cool. So Wendy's here. And that's cool. So we don't want equidistance. We want to look for variation of distances and angles. So you see how this sort of comes out like that. And they're all going into this larger mass here. Just like that. And we're going to go and do this with the pencil. So don't worry. And so don't start doing it until I show you guys with the pencil. And then you're going to have some real thin ones. And then you're going to have some thicker ones. But they're usually thicker at the bottom and then thin as you go up, like that. But you see, and then we have the thin ones, the thinner ones over here. And then little by little is you're going to do these little irregular irregular eyelashes, just like that. On this side, they're very thin. And you just want to pay attention and also see the lengths. Where do they end? Do they end before or after the crease of this eyelid? And you want to make sure you get the angles correct. So that's sort of the idea. So let's go back and let's do this with the pencil, and that should be a lot of fun. Okay, so back to our pencil. Okay, so remember we started right here, which was probably to the left of the pupil. Remember, it starts out thick and then it gets thin, and then there's one to the left, and that comes out a little bit higher. And remember, it comes out a little bit higher than the crease of the upper eyelid. And then see how it just sort of comes in like that. Hey, what's up, Joe? Good to see you. All the way from Rockwell, Texas. 2 Texas people in the house, so that's exciting. So good to see you. Very happy. Very happy you can join us. So you see and then this, you just vary the thickness. Same thing here. Remember what I said about negative space, right? This negative space between this eyelash and the other eyelash. And then this one comes up. And you want to be careful with this as best you can. And you don't got to go too crazy. And you see it gets thick as it goes towards this mass here of the eyelash. It's like, well, all the eyelashes are sort of getting together here, and then they're moving out here. So you see we're just going to, remember, thicker in the bottom and then thinning out and then just tapering off in the top here. Just like so. And then you want to also see that they're going in different directions. So you have these two, and then you have this one over here. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but you just want to make sure you do 2 things. You don't make them equidistant. You want them to be organic, right? You want them to have different lengths. You don't want them to have similar lengths, because then, see how I vary all the lengths, and I can even vary them even more, right? You don't want them, because once they have the same length, then it starts looking fake. And you don't want them to look fake. Then you have right here, 2 are going straight up and down. One is much shorter than the other. Wendy says, oh, cool. So that's great. So Wendy, is Joe your friend? And we're just pulling that up like that. And then over here, we have them sort of clumping together. So just be careful not to make them equidistant. That's very important. And let me see if I can just blow this up so you guys can see exactly what I mean, if that helps. Okay. Same thing here. And you don't want to make them too thin either. Remember, they're thick at the bottom and then they thin out at the top. And they're all different lengths and at different angles. Oh, very cool. Very nice to meet you. Any friend of Wendy's? A friend of mine. So cool. And We'll just zoom out again. So we're going to stick with this here. And then we have some, now always look at the angles when you can. I know I should have picked a picture that had much easier eyelashes, but you know what? You guys are up for the challenge. After we do this, we're going to do the little tiny eyelashes. Always very thin at the top. There we go. And just a couple, see how it gets less and less as you go further down, which is pretty cool. And all right, so now that we did this part, now this is interesting. We're going to do some of the eyelashes on the lower eyelid. But notice right here, this is where the eyelid sort of meets the eyeball, and then there's a little ledge. Where the actual eyelashes are coming out is on this angle right here. So what we're going to do is you want to see, you want to get the nature of the eyelashes on the bottom. They're sort of like this, right? They sort of flick and they get sort of thick at the beginning, and then they just sort of go like that. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to flick it like that. And remember, you don't want to be equidistant. You just want to make sure that you make things organic, which means not parallel and definitely not equidistant. If you circumvent those two proclivities to make things parallel and equidistant, then you're going to make your eyelashes look pretty realistic. So you see, they always come out of this lower part of the rim of the lower eyelid. You got a little eyelash coming out there. Some little curly cues, but try not to make them exactly the same. And they sort of overlap a little bit. And notice, like when we go to the center, they pretty much are almost straight up and down. So you want to make sure that as they go to the center, you'll see that they start curling this way, and then in this direction they're curling this way. So they're curling always towards the center. See? That's what you want to see when you are doing the eyelashes. They're always curling towards the center. A lot of people, when they're doing eyelashes, you'll see that, you know, they'll do the eyelashes where they all pretty much go like this, and that looks kind of crazy, and you definitely don't want to do that. Eyelashes are always following the contour of the eyelid, so they're always going towards the center, okay? So I hope that's helping, guys. I really do. So you make this a little bit darker. That's okay. All right, so let's continue that. And remember, they're not the same size, and they're not equidistant. They're usually very much thicker at the bottom, and then they thin out as they get to the end of the actual eyeball, which is cool. So I'm going to do more of these. Would you guys like to see more of these? Like, what would be something that you would like to see? Because I'm going to do another free art lesson next week. And I'm going to continue doing them, you know, while we're all in quarantine and everything. They're not going to be an advertisement for anything. They're just to hang out, relax, and take it easy. That's what it's all about right now. So Wendy says she went crazy. Hers are fake eyelashes. That's funny. More, but slow down. Okay, I'm going a little fast. All right, I hear you. So definitely. So that's good feedback. Maybe I'll just slow down a little bit. Okay. Me and art, it's like the Matrix. Everything's going in slow motion, I feel. Because I've been doing this my whole life. But I understand. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to very slightly darken this area, but I'm not going to darken the line. I'm just going to slightly fuzz this where the eyeball and the lower eyelid meet. See, I'm just going to fuzz that a little bit like that. Cheryl says mouth. I have lost my touch for doing mouths. That's a good idea, like a pair of lips. What do you think? That might be a good idea. So that could definitely be next week. So Cheryl, definitely. So Denise says her pupil is dilated. That's okay. That's all good, you know. And so, as you can see, I let you guys catch up to where we are. So you can see how the eyes, although the eyelashes look a bit crude and archaic, we'll just give them time and we're just going to refine them as we go. So right now we're at 10 o'clock. We'll probably stay till around 10:30, maybe even 11. And just, you know, so right now, and also going to leave this recorded on YouTube so you guys can go ahead and revisit it. That would be fun. You know, if you want to see the process once more, I'm going to leave it up on YouTube. If you're not already a YouTube subscriber, please do so. Timothy John Luke Smith on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe. You'll see a lot of videos like this that you'll really enjoy. Henry says, lips are great, but noses feel impossible to me. I can never get it right. That's a great idea, Henry. We are definitely going to do a nose as well. So I think that's fantastic. Noses are a lot easier than you think they are. You'll be surprised. They really, once you realize what they are, and they're really not as, they are intimidating, right? That's for sure. So Wendy says the Adele eyelash company would be proud. That's funny. That's very funny. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to just continue with just a few of these eyelashes here. Remember, different directions, but the thing is they're always going towards the center. So you see how this is pretty much the center, and the eyelashes are moving towards the center on this side and towards the center on this side. So that makes a big difference, right? It really does. And then you can go ahead and you can maybe make some thinner. You can change the length of it so it looks more realistic. And you could fix them up a little bit. And you always want to taper them off, you know, when they get to the end. Always taper. Gloria says I'm going to grade her later. Yes, we're going to be, I think you're going to get an A+, Gloria. I'm almost certain. I think your eyes are probably the most amazing eye I ever saw in my life. That's what I think. So as you can see, we are going at a pretty good clip. We're just going to slow things down just a little bit. And Henry says, Henry of course mentioned about the lips and the ears. So the lips and the nose. How about ears? Ears are pretty interesting, right? Those are a lot easier than you think they are when doing portraits. A lot easier. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and see this. We're going to just reiterate that line a little bit. Now what we're going to do is we are going to we're going to try and draw in the eyebrow here. That's interesting, right? We're just going to give it a shot. And you see the distance is not too far. The distance is probably the same. I would say the distance is probably the same from the eyelash to the bottom of the pupil. So think of that distance. And we're just going to make sure we get the angle correct. And we're just going to very, very lightly draw the eyebrow. Now where the eyebrow starts is pretty much where the corner of the eye begins. It doesn't follow, see how this goes down? So it doesn't follow at all the upper eyelid. It has its own angle. And then you want to look at it like a caterpillar. I know that's kind of a negative connotation when talking about eyelashes. She has beautiful eyelashes, and by no means am I meaning that her eyelashes look like caterpillars. She's beautiful. But we're just going to look at the big shape there, just like that. See that? And also you want to see that the angle is pretty much, I would say, 11 o'clock from the corner of this corner of her eye. Now when I talk about 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, when I'm looking at angles, I'm thinking about this right here. So let me go ahead and put this in. So I am talking about thinking of your clock here. 12, 6, 3, 9, 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 11. So when I'm looking at the line of her eye, I'm going to say that if I'm looking at what time it is, I'm going to say it's around 10 o'clock. So that's how I'm going to look at the angle of her eye. And I'm also going to look at this negative shape, because remember we talked about negative shapes again, you know? And we're going to do that again. Todd says he can draw a face he can't shade for his life. He's popping back and forth here between here and Facebook. So cool. Little by little you'll get there, Todd. It takes time, you know. Rome was definitely not built in a day. And what you want to look for is this sort of negative shape here. Remember, you're always looking for the negative shapes as well as the positive shapes. And they're going to help you where you want to get to, you know. Just like that. And for the sake of time, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to simplify, and you're just going to lightly shade that in, just like that. And we're simplifying for time. Like I said, this is just a fun class, just to hang out, talk about art, you know, go over technique together. Now, what you can do is you can go ahead and erase any areas that, you know, any sketch lines, you can erase that, just like that. And then what we'll do is we'll take our toilet paper, our expensive art supply right here. Toilet paper is the best, and we're just going to rub that in, just like that. And you'll see we're going to, if we have time, we're going to make that a lot more refined. And then you just take your eraser, and of course you can clean that up, just like that. Now once we did that, now we have something else that we can do, which is really quite nice, is we're going to draw in some shadows that are on this side, not the eyelid, but just the other part of the eye. We're just going to put in some shading, just a little bit, not all the way up to the eyelash, not all the way up to the eyelid, right? Just on the edge. See that? Just on the edge, all the way down to here. See that? Like I said, this is a beginner's art class. I mean, we can get much more complicated. I mean, that's no problem. I mean, but we're not going to get too complicated. We're just going to keep it very simple and fun, right? So that's the name of today's game. And you see that? We're just doing it just like that. Once that is done, we're going to take our TP and we're just going to shade like that. See that? Now, there might be, you might have done a little too much, and you can just erase some of it and make it nice and soft edge. No hard edges, So make it a soft edge. See, there's hard edges, and a hard edge would be like this is a hard edge, right? This would be a hard edge. See how it's hard? But this would be a soft edge because it's sort of blurry. So on the top is a hard edge, and down here is a soft edge. So with this, what you want to do is you want to make sure that it's a soft edge, and then you can just, fuzz it out a little bit. Just like that. And then once that's done, you can just take your toilet paper and keep blending it out. So it's nice soft blend. See how it's really kind of a hard edge here? And you can just sort of soften that up, blend that out, and then even erase a little bit just to make it soft edge. Soft edge is really important here. Like I said, this is not photorealism or anything, it's just having fun. Gisela, ¿cómo estás? Estoy tan contento a verte. So exciting to see you, my old friend. Not old as age, you're a young lady, but many years we are friends, right, Gisela? We've been friends for many, many years. And it's so great to see you. And I hope that your family is doing very well. So I am so glad to see you. So little by little we're getting there, right? No rush, and so I hope you guys are having some sangria, some wine or something. What do you guys have today? I have sangria. I haven't really been drinking it that much. Taking my time. I'm definitely not driving, but I just wanted to give back to you guys and just to break the monotony of all of this, and hopefully it does. Hopefully everyone enjoys this and it's a lot of fun. I hope so, and that's why I'm doing this. I can't go to the gym, so I have extra time than I usually would be, lifting weights or on the machines or something, so I can't do that. That's sort of like my hobby. Art has become my profession. It was my, my side hustle, but now it's my full-time job. But I definitely wanted to give back and definitely wanted to, break the monotony and do that maybe once, twice, maybe 3 times a week or something like that. That would be a lot of fun. I think it would be something different. And like I said, it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be, super, you don't have to have, drawing experience. This is just for everyone. Oh, Bradley says he thinks it's great. You're welcome, Bradley. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. I really appreciate that. And so now we have that. So let's darken. We're going to darken the this crease of the upper eyelid a little bit. Not all the way down, just right about here. Just like that. Just give it a little more feeling of that this is a fold. And then right here, we are going to create a little bit of a shadow right there. Just that little bit of a sort of a triangle that goes all the way down is going to make a difference, just like that. Now I have all kinds of paper stumps and all these other things, but this is for everyone, so I'm not going to use my, my special tools or whatever. I just want you guys and girls to really have fun doing this, And let's see, we are going to go to the next stage. And the next stage, I would say, would probably be, let's go ahead and do some individual hairs here in her eyebrows. So I have the eyelashes right here, you have them. And you see at the edge here, the eyelashes are going towards the center. So it's the same difference, it's like right here is the center. So all the eyelashes are going towards the center. But you're only seeing the eyelashes at the edge here. You're not seeing them on the inside. But on the edge, you're seeing individual hairs of the eyebrow, I should say. So you see that? So we're going to do a couple here. Remember, they're not going to be equidistant, and they're going to have different distances between them. Now remember, these hairs are going this way. These hairs are going to go that way because they always go towards the center, even in eyebrows. You see here we have a little clump of hair here, of little hairs, and then we have some hairs that are kind of stragglers here, just a little bit. And then also look how they sort of come out in this direction like that, but they move towards the center of her, where her eye is, just like that. And now what I can do is leave them there, and then I can darken the eyebrow a little bit. What that does, it just makes it a little more realistic, So that's pretty cool. So someone doesn't realize I'm live streaming, so that sucks. And they keep freaking texting me, so I do apologize for that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue here. So we're just going to darken this eyebrow here. Just like that. And then you see how it's the edges that are different, but everything else is pretty much even in the middle, like this large dark area. And if you just do a couple of those edge eyebrow hairs, it makes a big difference. And then you could just like that, just do a little variation here and there. It makes a big difference. Cheryl says, I always thought that they grew in the same direction, eyebrows. That was really cool. Aha moment. Yes, it's so true. They kind of go to the center, and so, one goes in one direction, one goes in the other. So that's cool. So what's up, Jacob? Good to see you, man. And so just like that, you can, nothing too fancy. You don't got to go crazy. And then you can just, just do the outward edges. That's all you have to do. And you can use a corner of any eraser to do this, just like that. It doesn't have to be that fancy. This is not like, hey, what's up, What's up, Herman? Good to see you, sir. No problem, Jacob. That's okay. Good to have you here. There we go. And, you know, you can always refine this. And there's some straggler hairs right over here. See that? It's just one going here, one going there, just like that. And you can see just little by little you can start to make this thing look pretty cool. And then you can darken this shadow a little bit more when it goes to the crease of the upper eyelid. You're just going to darken that a little bit. See that? And then you just blend that out. And that gives more of a feeling of that eye going into the socket, you know? Good to see you, man. So that's really neat. So I'm glad you guys are here. And once again, I'm going to darken the crease a little bit just to give it a little more strength. And as you can see, little by little, we're getting there. You know, it's not, you know, it doesn't have to be so complicated so early, you know. And once again, what I want you to do is I want you to darken the top area, but I don't want it to be a line. I want it to just be fuzzy right about halfway. So I want it to be fuzzy right about halfway of the pupil. So you're going to darken down the iris. Make sure you don't go over that little white area. That's our beautiful white highlight, right? And you want to darken this down, like I said, right about halfway. And you see now things are looking a little bit better. And remember, each time you go over with a layer, it gets darker and darker, which is really cool. Now you can see as we have gotten darker with that area, you can also see that we can even get a little darker with the pupil. Make sure you don't touch the white of the eye. Go over it one more time. And you see that? And that's how you build a variety of value in everything. There we go. Now, once that's done, so once we darken one area, other areas start lightening up, you know, lightening up. So remember the shadow underneath the eye there? We're going to just a little bit more, not all the way down, about halfway. We're just going to darken a little bit. Not as dark as we did here. It's going to be significantly lighter. Now, the light's coming from the top, and it's coming from the right side. So on the bottom and the left side are going to get the less light. This is not getting light because the eyelashes and the eyelid are actually shading this part of the eye. But on this side of the eye, it's getting more light. So it's going to have a little bit of a shadow underneath the eyelid, but it's going to be very light. Much lighter than this side. So you're always thinking of things, you know, how the light is, you know, whether or not it's facing the light. Whatever's facing the light source is going to have more light. Whatever is not is going to have less light. And then you can blend that just like that. There you go. And then also let's blend in the dark of the iris. There we go. So you see, it started out looking a little bit weird. Now it's coming together slightly, and we're going to get there. But this is just to give you an idea to go ahead and try eyes on your own. and just, believe in yourself and just have a lot of fun. That's what it's all about. And then if you want to get like better art supplies, you can. You could instant message me and I can tell you what drawing supplies to get, which is really cool. You see, I can do little uh, bit of hairs here, negative shapes. Remember I talk about negative shapes, and you can put them in and you can erase them. You can also do that with the side of your little pencil eraser. So there's a lot you can do. Okay, so now we have that. I want you to take your eraser, and we're going to start doing the whites of the eyes. Okay. Now, here on the bottom, you're going to erase. See that? I want you just to erase that like that. Right up to about halfway, that's when you're going to stop, and you're just going to erase that. And if you accidentally erase some of the iris, you can just put that right back in. No problem. And then on this side of the face, it's a little bit lighter. Oh, Herman, catch you later. Stay safe, my friend. Thank you so much for coming by. And then on this side, we are going to do the same thing. Not maybe up to the top 2/3 or the top 3/4, but not all the way at the edge. So on the upper top and the left, you're going to have some shading, but on this side, you're going to erase. And you're just going to create a feeling of the eyeball being in three-dimensional space, being affected by the light and dark. And with being nice and blurry, so that helps, right? That really does help. Now, here in this little like windowsill area, we're going to very lightly put some tone down. Very lightly. And then we're try just to put the TP right there. Try not to smear anything too much, so that would be good. And okay, now let's blow this up and see where we are. Great, so let me move over to the corner. So in the corner here, what we're going to do is that this sort of blends in, this sort of like disappears right where this corner is. And right here, this little triangle is a little bit darker, just like that. And it's a little bit darker on the edge here. Sort of like there's a dark shadow right on the, not on the, in that corner, but what's around it, like in the skin of the eye, you'll see. And then we could blend that in. And you want to stay as light as possible. That's very important. Same thing here. This is a little shadow area. And then with your eraser, you can just make sure you erase this part and that part right there. Sort of give the feeling of what's happening. See how that eye feels like it's more three-dimensional? And then there's a little line that goes right at that corner. So that little line right there. And you see how it sort of gives some dimension. And then right here, it's a little darker. This little triangle thing, it has little shapes within the shape there. Like I said, this is something you can do and fool around with eyes, and you know, when you're having your coffee or, tired of watching Netflix, you can just take out a piece of inkjet paper and just go to town. Now, here, there's a little dark on the underside of this eyelid here. We're just going to be ever so light. And we'll extend this line down, just like that. And we're just going to continue darkening the outer part of this iris here. Just right up to about there, and then the darkening goes away on the outside. And remember that everything always points to the center. Even these little lines in the eye, everything points to the center. So weird when you think about it. The mathematical regularities of the human figure, anything that's organic and natural. And when you get more advanced and you really like drawing, you can get things such as a 6B pencil. And if you're interested in doing like a more advanced class, this is the 6B woodless graphite. And what this would do is this would enable you to get really dark. So, all pencils aren't created equal. So you can actually get super dark, right? You can do a lot of different things, with this. But right now, just with a number 2 pencil, you can do that. So you see how you can actually get richer darks, and you can do things with better materials. But that's for another class. Now, if you're interested in more advanced classes, definitely, instant message me, and I could let you know basically, tools that you would need to do on your own. And I would definitely help you at no charge if you wanted to get, more advanced art supplies, especially just drawing in pencil. Hey, we all started drawing in pencil as a kid, so that's where we're always going to be, We're always going to go back to that. 2H and 2B. Well, 2H is hard, and you don't use 2H's too often, so I would definitely 2H or 2B, that is the question. So this is actually a 4B, a woodless graphite, and that's really dark. That's as dark as I go. A 6B, forgive me, 6B is as dark as I go. This is an F as a 0.5 pencil, mechanical pencil, but a number 2 or an HB works just fine. Those are your definitely middle of the road. That's what you do most of your sketching with. So I hope you guys are doing well. How are you guys doing out there? I would love to hear from you right now. What are some of the trials of being sort of staying at home? Are you an essential worker? I would love to hear. And of course, we're just going to continue some of those eyelashes. Remember, they're always going towards the center. And look at the direction. And look and make sure they're not equidistant. Those are 2 things that are really going to be important when painting eyelashes. It's so crucial. So right now, this is the mechanical pencil. It's an HB mechanical lead, pencil lead 0.5. And this is a 6B woodless graphite by Prismacolor. And if you're interested, I'll send you guys some links on that. And it's really not expensive to really start drawing and doing things on a very advanced level. So drawing is really fantastic. So Henry says it's the best eye he's ever made. Oh wow, that makes me feel great. Thank you, Henry. Thank you for that encouragement. I really need that. And uh, so so you definitely would like to tune into future live streams. Fantastic. So make sure if you're on YouTube right now, Henry. So make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I have your IM. I'm going to send you some information on some drawing tools. I'm sure your mom knows about that. Henry's mom is Michelle, who went to high school with me. We graduated together, as well as Alejandro. So really very exciting. So all very good stuff. And so basically I'm just going to stop there, guys. And I hope you guys really enjoyed it. And next week, or maybe earlier in the week, we'll go ahead and maybe we'll do a nose or an eye or something like that, or nose or lips, either or something like that. So that's the basic construction of an eyeball, and I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, just for the iris, you could use a quarter, and you can also, no pun intended, you can eyeball the smallest circle in the for the pupil, and that would be great. Cheryl says, technically an essential worker, as you are a medical secretary for geriatrics under the umbrella of local hospitals, so still working. Thank you, Cheryl, for being a healthcare worker and still being out there. So I applaud you. Thank you very much, and please be safe. That's very scary. So what are you guys doing out there on a Saturday right now? Are you usually go out, guys? Henry usually go out on a Saturday, or Todd or Cheryl usually out there hanging out, going to restaurants, or what do you usually do on a Saturday? I'm kind of sad to say this is pretty much what I do on a Saturday. Oh, and Catherine says, thank you so much, sir. I will definitely sign up for your channel. Thank you, Catherine. It's such a pleasure. I'm so glad that you are here, and thank you, and I appreciate you hanging out and spending your Saturday with me. So, yeah, so this is it, and this whole thing has been quite crazy. Denise says she's using an F and enjoyed it. And I'll have to post the eye. Yes, I'd love to see it. Guys, go ahead and post the eyes on your Facebook channel, and just go ahead and, tag me, Timothy John Luke Smith. I would love that. That would be, so Todd's a homebody. Yes, I'm very similar to that. And this was fun, and thank you. No, thank you, Cheryl. Thank you so much. Draw and paint. Oh, yes, me too. And I had fun, Cheryl. And it's just so great. And so remember, just some takeaways. Always look at your angles, and always look at your clock. Is it 10, 1, 2, or in between the two? That would really help. And just have fun. Just have fun. And John, great to see you. Everybody, if you have any questions, I'm going to leave this recorded. This is going to stay recorded on Facebook, and it's going to stay recorded and posted on YouTube and Facebook if you want to look at it and go over it again. William, it was a lot of fun, and I'm really happy with the way yours turned out. So, and all right, new subscriber, way to go, Henry. Thank you so much. So, thanks, guys. I'm gonna polish off my sangria, and I hope to see you guys later in the week. Have a great Sunday, and take care. Stay safe, everybody. Let's get through this craziness together, right? And with these little live stream for you guys, hopefully it'll break the monotony for me, and I get to hang out with you. So everybody